Power your ambition with SOFTSWISS. Reliable tech, robust security, compliance, exceptional service, high-impact engagement and retention. Over 1,400 clients worldwide. 40,000 plus games available. A modular product suite built for any iGaming business. SOFTSWISS. Grow with us.
Bingo, bango, bongo. Denis Romanovskiy, we're back in the podcast here today. Great to have you
Once
here.
again. Yeah,
How are you?
Thank you. Doing well. Today the weather is just brilliant. I have great mood and I'm full of passion.
I can tell, Denis, every time we meet, it's like I throw a question at you and you just go down the rabbit hole, and it's just such a joy to speak to you from that perspective. And you have a new job title as well, Chief AI Officer, or shall we summarize it as Ciao?
Yeah, I prefer to call it Chief AI. It's easier. Yeah, yeah, it's a kind of new role. It's jump into unknown. It's absolutely new. It's a bit of risk. It's a lot of joy, and it's a lot of fun for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so Chief AI Officer of a technology company like SOFTSWISS, super interesting. And this is why what we're going to discuss today is kind of like why businesses need to think about dedicating this type of roles. And I can just say in our case, for example, in Next, we think a lot about how to become more tech fluent and AI native, let's say, as an organization. And we've been struggling a lot with this. Should that be in the hands of the CTO? Should it be in the hands of the COO? It's a little bit hard to figure out where kind of AI lead sits in the organization. So I just want to start off with asking that question to you. When you were in SOFTSWISS were thinking about organizing this type of role, how did you come to the eventual decision of breaking it out into the Chief AI role, and why not the CTO, for example? And talk a little bit more about how you structure that role internally.
Right. I think it's better to start with the story.
Yes.
So, all this AI story in SOFTSWISS, it's maybe like 5 years ago, yeah, and we had some tools created here, there. We had some features in the product. We had some data pipelines with machine learning and all this stuff. And then there was this revolution with ChatGPT and LLMs. And then we had these tools for software development and tools for business. So we, as probably everybody else, we started to experiment in the technology departments and in the business departments. And we in technology department had some success, especially with development, where we improved the speed of writing code, basically, and we can just it faster, and then we determined that the level of quality of the models is so good that we can even try something in business. So we figured out a couple of cases and we experimented, and hey, actually something worked. Some of our bots really did some good for business, and then we started to question ourselves, how can we scale it? And we determined that it's not that easy, because we kind of organization with multiple different functions, and somebody has to coordinate it, and it's between tech and business, and you have to work a lot with business and keep in mind the tech part. So continuing this way in just the technical branch, it was quite hard, because sometimes you have your delivery goals, you have to continue to develop and deliver the features that were planned, and here you in this new world of AI, you need to change the processes, you need actually do this change management, and it's part in business and part in tech, so it was kind of very hard. And we decided, hey, let's just make a different role, and this will be a cross-functional role and the C-level, so that this role has some power, and it can influence everybody. At the same time, this role will align with the strategy of the company, and will work with everybody and explain everybody how this AI strategy should be converted into changes in the company. So this is how we end up with Chief AI role. Should every company follow this role? That's a good question. I've been thinking a lot about it, and I don't have a single answer. Probably if you have like multiple functions and you need to coordinate to get some return on investment and explain it to everybody, yes, you need this role. Yeah. If you're a smaller company and not so many functions there, just a couple of people on C-level, yeah, probably it can be in the hands of CTO or in the hands of COO or whatever else. But if you are in kind of medium, larger company, if you want to make it fast, yeah, and you want everybody to be aligned to avoid security risks, data loss risks, and you just want to let it develop everywhere in the company, then you need this role. That's what I think about it.
Yeah, let's talk about what the Chief AI Officer actually do. So what is the mandate that you have internally in SOFTSWISS? What is it exactly that you are responsible for? And talk a little bit more about maybe the partnership or the challenges that you have working alongside a CTO, for example. Is there sometimes like blurred lines on who takes the decision in certain cases as you're working in kind of two different departments, but in a very technical role? But talk about what the Chief AI Officer actually do. What's your mandate?
Well, first of all, it is very important that there is an impact from this role, and there is impact for business. Yeah, we need to somehow influence revenue or costs, efficiency, speed, quality, and so on. Yeah, it's very important. So we decided to set some company level KPIs for adoption of AI. Yeah, and then with this, I was thinking, how should I approach it? And yeah, I decided that I definitely need to split my work into multiple directions. So first of all, it's a part to work with software development, with product, and the part with business, with operations. Software and product. This is where now the best tools and the fastest growth of capabilities to automate work of product engineering. So here I help guys to choose the best tools, work with vendors, and basically enable them to fully automate the software development process. I have a number of champions in each of the product team, and they work together with me. They work together with their teams, so that we choose the best practices and implement them and share the knowledge. Yeah, because it's sometimes trial and error. Sometimes something doesn't work, something works better. So you need to iterate quite quickly, yeah, so that you get the value. And this is the first part. The second part is about business. So with business, I've been thinking, so I can do in two ways. Either I can help everybody to understand what is AI and use it on daily basis, or I can fully focus on some big use cases. Like if I automate this piece of work, I will make a huge impact. And I'm now somewhere in between. So I'm trying to do this and that. Why? Well, first of all, I believe that the best thing to do is to enable everybody in the company to use AI. And how do you start it? First of all, you review what the tools are available. Yeah, you work with vendors, you see what is on the open source market, you understand the constraints, the capabilities, then you cooperate a lot with the security team. By the way, we have top security team probably on the market, so they are very helpful, and it's very important to engage them. Yeah, so together we choose the tools, we understand what kind of capabilities we can allow our employees. Then, we are working with regulated markets, yeah, and there are some regulations that we should follow. So we need to set up the tools that they retain data properly, that we can remove the data. The data is not can be used for something. So we basically build the system in such a way that it's all possible, yeah, and then we create rules and explain to people. So without this information, people just get the tool and they don't understand. Can they put client data into the tool? Yeah, can they put business data and player data? So you first of all work with the security, then work with the vendors, understand all the situation, build the best practice, and then start to explain it to people. And how I do it? I do workshops. So I select different business teams, talk to them, explain them, okay, guys, you really can do it. You can do it this way, yeah. For example, you can take your Excel spreadsheet with some data of the market, yeah, and can very quickly build some kind of interactive widgets, yeah. And instead of wasting time how to do it in Excel spreadsheet, yeah, on Google Sheets, you just tell Gemini that, hey, take this data and build this kind of dashboard, and then you can select different filters, and very quickly you get whatever you want. Yeah, you don't wait. You don't need some engineers to do it, to test it. Yeah, you can do it yourself. So this way, for examples, they enable mind of people to think differently. They before that, hey, I can do it myself. I need to wait. Maybe I will not do it. But now they have the tools. They can do whatever they want. Yeah, and we provide them with safe environment. Yes, for example, with Gemini, yeah, they can work in this Google Workspace. They cannot put something in and can put something out that we don't want. Yeah, and this way they can easily experiment. And the same possible with other tools like ChatGPT with Claude. But you first of all you need to make this area secured. So it's about enabling people, yeah, and the third thing is about enabling working with corporate data in these tools, in AI tools, and here it is important, so basically you need to let people have the same access permissions and access to data to be used within LLMs as they have in their business applications. Yeah, and how you do it in the world of AI is called MCP Hub. Yeah, and Agents Hub. So basically, this is kind of platform infrastructure that connects business applications with AI systems, and then you just can write prompt, hey, what is happening about this client, what was like through the previous week, yeah, and imagine if I change some terms for this client, what can happen if I do this and this, yeah, and it can take the data, it can think about it, it can provide you some answers. So it becomes an analytical tool. Yeah, you can prognose something, you can test this option, that option, you can do a lot. So enabling this is a huge piece of work. Mm-hmm. So these are a couple of things. Under the hood, there is a lot of work with people, who have concerns with managers, with C-level, and at the same time, you need to follow the company strategy, understand where the company goes, and ensure that what we are doing in our AI Center of Excellence is aligned with the company strategy. So those are basic things. There are more, but I think
exactly. So I mean, to kind of summarize from a high level, it's all well and good that a company wants to introduce new software tools that can enable people to be more productive, but there are some massive challenges there. One is the adoption of those tools and the fluency of those tools, and that people actually understand how to make the best use out of them. But then secondly as well is the orchestration internally.
Yes.
So that you don't just end up with 100 different subscriptions of tools that one by one seems to be fantastic, but there is no cohesion, or they work in silos, these tools. What you're saying is you kind of want to create the SOFTSWISS brain to some extent, right? Where you can perhaps gather a lot of information into a central kind of system. Is that the idea?
Yeah, we have kind of, internal funny name for it. We call it Big I. Yeah. But this is not the goal, like to have this sort of brain. I think it will emerge. Yeah, the goal is to enable everybody to connect data. Yeah, and people will find out the best ways how to connect it. And also, I don't want to create a kind of silo of AI engineers. Yeah, that people can in their own departments to do their own experiments. But at the same time, it should be safe for the company, for them, for everybody.
Yeah, exactly, and that's like one of the challenges here, right? Using AI means that the AI itself has access to a huge amount of data, right? And there's some massive security implications that comes with that. How are you thinking about that part?
So there are security implications. There are issues about hallucinations, and trust to AI. It's a lot of stuff. So, like I said about security, you work with your vendors, you very carefully read the terms that they provide, and you choose the proper plan. For example, if you look at enterprise plans of OpenAI, of Claude, of Google, you can see that they allow you to manage data retention better. There are different ways that you can log, that you can process the data that your people, how your people work with AI, and with this you can manage your security much better. And the models themselves, they are now developed for more safety, so that they first of all they hallucinate less, yes, and then there are best practices how to avoid these hallucinations, and in general. Companies like Anthropic and OpenAI, they try to do this, their models that they do less harm. Yeah, they're more predictable. So on every front, there are developments to make it safer. And, at some point, probably even this year, it will be very safe. Yeah, and if you don't work at it and wait until it, you waste time. You need to move, and try carefully, think about creating safe infrastructure, and start with small things and slowly increase them.
Yeah. How is SOFTSWISS looking at the kind of human and AI relationship as you are implementing these type of tools? How do you see, let's say, the symbiosis between the human and AI? How will the human enable themselves using AI? Because I think you spoke a bit about, for example, the role of the human is like the creativity or the strategy and so on, and the AI is the execution part. Talk more about how you think about what is the role of the human and what is the role of the AI.
Yes. So, if you think about AI, what actually does it bring? It brings the execution. How you work it in past, like before AI, In the morning, you come to the office, you plan what you do, Then maybe you have a planning meeting, then the entire day you do something. In the end of the day, you kind of validate your work, think what you do tomorrow. That's just usual approach. Now with the AI, you think how you do the work, and then you implement this work, like execute this work in a matter of minutes. And what you do next? You should do something else, right? So I think it's even this small change, it changes a lot. So a modern worker with AI will work as the following. So they take a new task. They think, okay, how can I plan to do it better? How can I plan it to do it with AI so that AI can do it for me and the quality will be appropriate? So you start with planning, then you choose the best tools. You understand what kind of tools work better with this task. It's Gemini or it's ChatGPT, it's Notebook LM, it's some kind of workflow system, whatever. Yeah, it can be even open source. So you choose the tools, then you decompose your task into smaller things, and you define how you will check the work. Yeah, so you can check the work by just looking through, human in the loop, yeah, or you can tell AI how AI should check itself. Yeah, for example, if it's some kind of analytical report, so okay, how can I check the data aggregations? How can I check the conclusions? So can I go from conclusions to the raw data back, yeah, and see how it works. Then I can choose the other model to test the results of this model. And I need to plan this kind of workflow, yeah? And then I can run multiple iterations of execution and improve it. And I can improve it like every day, every hour, make it better and better and better. So this is how I think the nature of work will change, and we will spend more time thinking how to do the work better and how to test the work. And what it will change, yeah, so first of all, it will change how the people work. Then the teams, yeah, the teams should think how they can let people work in such environment. So how they do the plannings, yeah, probably they will have shorter, smaller iterations of work, yeah. Then if somebody makes mistake with AI, how can make this mistake, you know, undo, yeah, like we have in software development. If you make a bad release, you can, you know, roll back and put the previous version. Can you do something same in business? Yeah, that's a good question. So if your team can like provide this approach, then they can very easily iterate with AI, figure out best workflows and run very quickly, and then the entire company. And if you look at examples like, I know, take Cursor, take Lovable, take some other companies, they are like, you know, maybe even hundreds of people, but making hundreds of millions of dollars revenue, yeah? How they do it? Because they automate things, because they build the work pipelines, workflows this automated way. And the human, yeah, the human stays there because the human thinks strategically, the human decides how to build these pipelines, and the human observes and improves. So every person becomes kind of a manager of these agents. Yeah, and the better you do it, the more successful you are. And the market will definitely want these people more and more.
So something I observe internally in our company now is that many of our staff members, they have hyper accelerated their strategic briefings within the company. So say, for example, that we are thinking about a new project. So to create now a project plan can be done in a few minutes just by talking to OpenAI. This is my idea, this is what I want to do. And you talk for a few minutes exactly how you want this, in our case, an event to look like, for example. Create a project brief, and boom, here you go. The project brief is there, right? So I see a lot internally now that kind of project briefs are being sent in a hyperscale, like 10 times more than we saw before.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And a lot of information is flowing from our staff members into the business. And it seems to me that when we are able to ideate much more and to structure our thoughts much more efficiently, there is, as I said, there's 10 times more information flowing, but then for the receivers, it gets quite difficult to take in all that information sometimes because you just get bombarded with a lot more information internally. It seems to me that one of the keys to enable staff members to really not just 10x their own output, but then also for this output to be understood internally, it's like you almost have to have like an engineering mind to some extent. Like you mentioned kind of like if you can direct like a swarm of agents, it's not just about producing work, but it's also about doing that in a cohesive way that makes sense internally. and being able to map out that
Yes.
the processes in a clear way so that it's like implemented properly and so on. It seems to me almost like a skill of the future of a really strong worker is not only about knowing which AI tools to use, but then also how to take this enormous amount of information that you are creating and implementing it in the organization in a cohesive way. Is that something you're thinking about as well? Like,
Yes.
do you see that in SOFTSWISS too, that is so much more information is flowing?
I was thinking about it, and I read a little bit here and there. My strong belief that there will be a rise of new role, and the name that comes here and there is the systems builder. So it's a kind of, semi-engineering mind. The person who understands different AI tools, understands the domain of your business and the information, and he or she understands how to connect this information and build the workflow, the pipeline, and get the results. Yeah? And I think we will need like multiple times more such people. Yeah. Then we have software engineers now. So the engineering role will probably very slowly transform. Yeah, like maybe in a matter of like 5 years, maybe more, but very slowly transform. Of course, there will be still strong engineers, architects, and so on. Yeah, there will be some areas, but for business, for government, for everything, there will be just these kind of roles, and everybody will need it.
Yeah. No, it is something I'm thinking a lot about. Just like how the organization can digest the amount of information that is being produced in general, and I think that can become a bottleneck in its own right as the organization. I just noticed it myself the other day. Just I'm seeing all these like really beautiful, well put together project briefs, and then I'm realizing like, oh my god, there's only so much information I can take in. And it's an interesting problem. Then for the future, how to digest all this information.
I have idea about it.
Okay.
Like immediately, in this modern world, you very quickly jump with ideas.
Yeah.
So I think that it will transform how we work with this information. So, do you really need these briefs? Instead of briefs, maybe you can, build a prototype of the product immediately. Like, you don't need the brief. You just show the prototype. You take Lovable, you take even, Gemini, and write your brief inside. Hey, make me a demo, and it will make a demo for you. Then you want to kind of show. Okay, simulate the show for me. And it will, create some videos and show how it can happen. And instead of reading these briefs, you can go directly into some kind of MVP prototype, test that you can look at, and you can then even simulate the users, the guys who attend this show, how they will behave, what they will like, what they will not. So it changes the way we think, and it can change, bring new ideas.
Yeah, it's such a good point, because I think we're at an age now where we've been working one way for many years, and it's never been a bottleneck in an organization that you put together really well put together project briefs and send it across the organization. That has never been a problem. But at this point now, where so much information can be created, it puts more pressure on you to when you have an idea or when something needs to be sent across to the organization, to be able to prepare it so well that it's easily understood and a very quick decision can be taken. Because otherwise, the bottleneck is not you anymore. The bottleneck is now on the receiver end. So it becomes a lot about that exactly. And I mean, even now with Lovable, for example, we spoke about some idea yesterday of like an app that was kind of missing in the industry currently in our sphere, and in half an hour we've coded that app that doesn't exist in the industry, and we can probably come up with 100 ideas of apps that are really useful that we can provide to the industry or use for ourselves.
And you could test them. Like you have an idea, you immediately test it. Then from test to real production, you will definitely spend more efforts, but you can very quickly test it, and it changes a lot. Yeah,
exactly. There's a really good business principle that is by an author called Jim Collins, and he'll say, fire bullets than cannonballs. And the idea is that like experimentation is great in a business. You should experiment, but with low cost and low effort. And then when something works, then you fire the cannonball. Then you commit to the big project.
Good analogy. Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about some real use cases within SOFTSWISS where AI is already creating value today. How people are using it, and maybe some success stories that you guys have had. It's interesting to see kind of what level people are working with AI internally.
Okay, so first of all, please, from what I say, don't think about these big real use cases. It's important that every person use AI tool daily, right? That they have a small report. They have tasks, for example, from Jira, from Airtable, wherever, they can use it in their just daily activities. And this is the most important, I think, at this point, that everybody just do the small things. Then you get into more complex things. But if you just skip the first step, then you will not train people. And the workflows that you will build, that will automate their work, they will just automate their work, but they will not train them to use AI, and the people will be less useful. So I try also not to skip this test and let people first understand the tools, use them, But yes, we have some kind of implementations. Couple of examples, For example, in our payments provider management department, we have a lot of emails from providers. We have like hundreds of them, thousands, every day emails about that something works on the provider side well, not well, something is happening, this and that. So before that we had like people who looked after this information and tried to figure out what is most important and communicate internally, communicate to our operators externally. Now we have a system, AI system, kind of a set of agents that looks through these emails of the providers, figure out what's going on. They have special prompts. Then they choose the important information. There are several levels of validating this information. And then they create reports. The human review this report, and so the report comes to the operators and to our staff that supports the payment system. So this is the first example. The second example can be like an integration of a sort of a bot into our ticketing system, Jira, in technical support. So imagine that you get a ticket. And it's a similar ticket to hundreds that you did before, and you need to kind of understand what kind of a problem here, find the run books that helped you to fix this problem, and so on. And you just wasted 15-20 minutes to find this information. Now we have a bot that reads the issue, goes into history of tickets, goes into our documentation, and figures out a plan how this issue can be resolved. So as the engineer of support opens the ticket, he or she, they find this information, kind of pre-plan how this issue can be fixed, resolved, and they take it. They follow it, or they think no, it's wrong plan, but they save a lot of time on it, and we see that it really improves time to resolution. Then one of the other tools is kind of we call it HR bot. HR bot, what does it do? Basically, it answers hundreds of simple questions from employees about vacations, benefits, and because we have multiple offices around the world, so the rules are different everywhere, and so the system kind of have this information in a structured way, and whenever a person comes in and say, hey, for example, I'm in Malta, and what kind of benefits do I have? What kind of insurance I have, and the system just finds the specific information, explains everything on the language that you prefer, yeah, and gives you the links. So we did it such a way that it minimizes hallucination. It uses just the data that it found in our systems, yeah, and it replies structurally. And for just in case, you can go by the link and find the information source and read it yourself. And it helped like monthly we save hundreds of hours. Yeah, of this communication, but we see that we need to improve it. Yeah, because it's not just like you build the bot, then you need to look through the logs, what kind of questions came from people, how well did it answer. Yeah, and then you need to provide additional information to improve your source of data regularly, so that people continue to use this bot. Because if it's outdated, if it doesn't answer one question, two questions, you will stop using it. Yeah. You will again go to HRBP and ask your questions, yeah, because it's comfortable. So, yes, there is also organizational, cultural changes, yeah, that should happen with it. So these three kind of samples, they are not like rocket science. And by building these kind of tools, we also built our kind of AI platform, yeah. And now, what we're doing this tool we call MCP Hub. Basically, it's a place where you plug in enterprise data, yeah, and let AI work with this data, yeah, like I told before. So as soon as we make it secure, yeah, scalable, we will deploy it to the whole company. And now we just have some departments. And imagine that. How many use cases will be available like to everybody, yeah? My imagination shows a lot, but I know there will be a lot of problems after this, even after this. So
but talk a little bit more about the use cases. So talk about more of the MCP Hub, like you said, the kind of AI platform. It plugs in enterprise data. So is this the SOFTSWISS brain then that we're saying, right? It contains a lot of information about the company. Yeah. And as an employee in any given department, you can then kind of plug into this massive database and extract information to. Let me
talk about it. Yeah.
Please.
So imagine that you are an employee in a department. Yeah. You have your accounts, for example, in Jira, in Confluence, in HiBob, yeah, in Salesforce, in Tableau, whatever other systems. Yeah. You have your own level of access, and then you want to kind of take all the information from these systems and use it for some kind of computation, yeah, some kind of analysis. This is very hard to do because if we just take all the information and put it into one vector kind of database, yeah,
everyone has access to salaries.
Yes. It doesn't work, yeah. So there are ways like you need some additional metadata to this, and we're also thinking about it. But we first want to enable the MCPs. Yeah, the MCP takes your account in this corporate system with exactly your access permissions, and extracts the data that is available to you. So you get data from this system, from that system, put them into single kind of AI pipeline and process it, and you have the results. And you use the data that is available to you. And you process it in the environment that is controlled by our security and infrastructure teams. So this should be safe. Nothing is safe in the world, but it provides a good level of safety, and we believe this is the way to go. But then, of course, we will need much stronger things like these huge RAG things that help you to really catch the actual data from multiple sources and relative data, and even maybe sometimes even external data too. Yeah, so this is more complicated. This is the future. There are different architectures how to do it, but you should be very careful about it.
Yeah. So just taking a step back. The goal here is essentially, if we look at any given organization today, how much time is being spent on meetings to coordinate information between two departments or different people, how much is spent between messages, asking for different questions, and being reminded. How much information do you forget from any given meeting that you then need to get reminded over, and so on and so forth. And so the idea here is that when you create this kind of brain done an MCP Hub, that it should make a lot of meetings, for example, or messages back and forth moot, because you can just get those details from the MCP Hub, so to say. If the product managers can write really detailed project briefs and keep that as like their ultimate source of truth, for example, so that gets updated, and instead of doing updates and whatnot, if you have a question, you can just ask the central AI platform, rather than having to take a meeting, rather than having to message people back and forth. I think in any given organization, that is probably a majority of work that any given person does on a day-to-day basis, is just updating each other. Right?
Absolutely.
And that would be like the ultimate kind of dream or ultimate goal, right? Is that a lot of that happens between the...
I can give you just an example from yesterday. Yeah, I had a request. So can we create kind of bot system for bonuses? Yeah, and then we discussed, hey, we need to get the developers who did these bonuses. Yeah, some meetings, their time, we need to plan this, blah 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 blah. Then okay, I have Cursor, I have access to a code base, so I write, hey, dear Cursor, I want to implement this kind of feature with bonuses. Yeah, what is in our code base? What is available? Can I make it easily? Do I need to do some architecture changes? And what do you think should be the plan? And how long should it take? And I got the answer. Yeah, I got the structured reply. It went through all the code base. And now with this plan already, yeah, I will make a meeting and discuss it with the engineers, with products, so that, okay, guys, please pre-read it before the meeting. Yeah, let's discuss it, so we can make decision on this meeting. Yeah, we not just share the information and our assumptions, but we have analysis of the code base. We have potential options how we can do it. Yeah, and we can decide it. So it speed up things. Yes,
absolutely. I'm also curious to talk to you about, lately the big hype has been around OpenClaw and kind of AI agents now kind of truly becoming that personal assistant that we have been promised for such a long time. OpenClaw is a bot that lives locally on your computer, that has access to your files, that has access to different systems and so on, in order to be proactive. So it can proactively write messages for you, it can proactively create a file structure of your computer, it can proactively find files or whatever you want it. I'm curious to ask your thoughts around kind of the future of autonomous bots, and kind of the AI more proactively taking over work within the organization and so on and so forth. Like, do you think that is like around the corner? Is it happening now? How do you view that?
It's definitely around the corner. So just some maybe sort of historical aspect. It started with tools like N8N, Zapier, and so on, where you just could build the workflows and put some AI inside. Yeah. Now we have the same product from Google, which is called Workspace Studio. It allows you also to safely create your own workflows. Yeah, and this is how we at work can automate our things. Yeah, but people want really something to replace them completely. Yeah, and this is not what big vendors can provide us yet, because of this huge governance issues, risk issues. Yeah, and maybe there are even more like blockers there, and it requires time. But in open source, it's absolutely different. Yeah, and people just for the hobby make that such things like OpenClaw, and this hobby became a really big thing. Yeah. Because, well, what is it? It has an LLM system that can be, it can use a public one, or it can even sit on a piece of hardware. Yeah, it has a set of skills. It has a memory, so you can give it instruction, and it can be kind of semi or almost fully autonomous. What does it mean? That it can do for you full pieces of work end to end. This is what previously was kind of constrained, because of safety reasons and so on. But in open source, people move freely to do this. And now, people like crazy. They try this, they try that. Some of them have success. Some of them really break things, lose money, whatever. If you are an engineer, good engineer, and you understand a bit of security here and there, you can probably set up it safely. Otherwise, at this moment, it's a bit risky. As for the future, I think that it will definitely be a direction to develop AI, and I think that consumer market of these kind of bots will be huge, and the enterprise market will also follow after it. I think it will be like for good and for bad too. So imagine that in iGaming, you have players who are just this kind of open claw bots and play your slots. You are as operator, can you recognize that this is a bot playing? It's much harder than to do it like with original bots, because it's a separate piece of hardware. You can open browser, you can like run this plain browser with the bot. It's almost all there. So it can be harmful. It can be useful that you can replace some of functions of your people to process some data, to enter some data, things like that. It's also possible. And as a your personal assistant, it can do things for you, like I don't know, help you, remind you to do something, write some researches, documents, write some code, whatever. Definitely going to be very huge.
Well, and just to take a step back again, I am curious to know a little bit more on the education part that you and the culture part within SOFTSWISS now, right? Because a big part of your job then as the Chief AI Officer is to ensure that all the staff in SOFTSWISS are kind of on this journey, right? That you're implementing AI. So I'm curious to know kind of like the fluency of AI for any given worker within SOFTSWISS. So like if you take out the engineering department who might be working with very advanced tools and so on and so forth, what level are you aspiring your kind of everyday worker within SOFTSWISS to use AI with? Like what type of tools should they be using? Should they be focusing on like the Claude, ChatGPT and Gemini, or should they also be branching out to other apps as well to use in their everyday work kind of thing as a foundation? And if so, talk a little bit about the different apps that you can recommend to the everyday person, who is not a coder, who is not an engineer, let's say.
All right. So I will be talking about the tools that we use in SOFTSWISS, but it's important that there are different providers that have really brilliant tools too. So it's not like the only way to go. So for a long time we worked with Google, with their services, and we rely a lot on Gemini at the moment. So every person in our company works with Gemini, and they have access like to this kind of pro account, and they can work with data, with documents. They can create pictures and infographics. Infographics, by the way, is a very cool thing in Gemini, even videos. And then they can use Canvas to create applications, to build documents, to even build presentations. By the way, not many people talk about it, but Gemini is very good for presentations.
Oh, that's good.
And then Notebook LM, very cool tool included into offer of Google, goes together with Gemini, that allows you to, first of all, to look through huge amounts of content. For example, you have like hundreds of documents on different languages, about some kind of topic that you research. You can put in, you can ask questions and be sure that it will answer only based on this information. It will not take anything else at all. So it's very useful. Then you can build, presentations, you can build infographics, you can build even audio and video guides from this information. And for example, if you do a lot on onboarding stuff, on training, this tool can be used to very quickly do something for your team. Yeah, so these kind of tools, they work well on the level of the team. Then next thing that we use is a Slack bot. Slack bot basically looks for all the information that you have in your chats with people that you talk, and sometimes it helps you. What I discussed it with this guy, with that guy, what kind of topics I just discussed it through the previous week. So analyze my work, what can I do better in my communication. So a lot of cases, yeah. It's very useful. And then it's a new tool, Workspace Studio. It's a sort of NA10, but for personal work, and it lives also in this Google Workspace, works together with Gemini. There, for example, you get an email. Yeah, you can see, okay, this is email from this guy or about this topic, do something about this email, yeah? Or there is a file, some changes in the file in my Google Drive, or new file comes to this folder in Google Drive, yeah? Process it somehow, yeah, extract some data, create something based on this data and put it there, yeah? So basically we talk about some small workflow automations. And this is the basic tool set. It lives in Google Workspace. It's very safe because we control it. The companies that use Microsoft stuff, they will have the same approach, yeah. But now we see that for some cases Google and Gemini is not enough. Yeah. So, for example, we work with Claude, with ChatGPT, and especially developers need Claude a lot. Yeah, they like Claude code, and Claude now produces very good tools for business. Like maybe you heard this tool Cowork. Yeah, it actually good. It does good jobs on processing some data, documents, images, and so on. So how do you integrate it with everything? Yeah, so first of all, understand that you need a proper plan, like enterprise plan. You need to set up data residency, data retention, other security policies proper, and then integrate, for example, this your Google environment with this Cloud environment. Yeah, then if you, for example, in Google, yeah, you cannot put in too many different applications. They're limited. But this is what helps them to make this secure environment. Yeah, but if you start to work with Claude and with ChatGPT, especially enterprise, you can put in lots of applications, lots, yeah, with MCP. So there also enterprise account lets build groups and let people work with several different applications. Do not give everybody everything because it will be a mess. Yeah. So this is how we do it. Yeah, we started with Gemini. We created a guide. Okay, guide. Okay, guys, here are the tools that you can safely use every day. Don't worry, use. Yeah. If you want Claude or Gemini, so you work with your manager. You specify for what particular cases you want to use it. Yeah, we approve it with security. We'll let you do it. Yeah, but only this way. And you are responsible that you do not do it improperly. And of course, we sort of track that no things happen. And that's, I think, the way. But there are more tools. Like there are tools for content creators, multiple tools. Yeah. We even use sometimes NA10 for some cases, yeah, and we use open source tools like LangGraph, LangChain, and so on for some particular cases in development. So there are multiple things of that, but there should be your base for every employee, and in our case, it's Google Workspace with Gemini.
Yeah, brilliant. That's good to know. That's the foundation, right?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, in our case, we use Microsoft as a suite of office tools, for example, and then the similar tool will be available.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like for the tech, like really advanced engineers will have, I mean, the entire organization's efficiency, like lies on the people that in like your role, for example, in the future of organizations, like senior engineers are like gods in the future, you know, because they will orchestrate the organization in such important ways.
You know, I'm not sure that this kind of role that it will last for long. Yeah, most probably everything will be AI. Yeah, so maybe my role will transform into something else, or maybe it will continue to it will stay. Yeah, but it will stay in case of these systems become really advanced, and you will need like more and more and more governance over it. Yeah, so it will depend on people, and I want to ease my life, and I want every employee in company to do it themselves. Yeah, as more I can kind of you know, put into them, into their minds and in their hands, the less complicated it will be for me.
No, I think it's almost like, have you seen Matrix? You know, the movie Matrix, and the architect in Matrix who creates the that's like the top software engineers of like the future, like the architect in Matrix. They are the ones that like.
But you don't architect only the systems. You architect the organization, connections between people and tools and these agents all together. So yeah, it's a bit different angle.
Yeah.
Kind of
the god engineers. So to start rounding things off today, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on where the AI space is heading in 2026. So we're already seeing kind of like OpenClaw emerging as now being more proactive, let's say. What do you think the big headline for AI in 2026 will be as it comes to the progression of the technology now?
Honestly saying, I don't know. Yeah, because it just changes every day. Yeah, news come just every day from different sources. It's crazy, but I feel that it will not be that fast as everybody's saying, because you know. So I had some presentations from different companies, for example, with AWS, with Oracle. Yeah, and I see from their use cases, so that the big companies, they are not that fast. Yeah, they need time. So yeah, there are a lot of proposals from top vendors like OpenAI, like Anthropic, like Google, but people need time to adopt. Yeah, so the models, the harness around the models, it will continue to develop. It will become better and better, and the code generation will be like the main area of improvements. Yeah, then we will have more and more of this kind of agents, bots. Yeah, in the companies and as experiments and maybe some kind of commercial tools on the market. Then this kind of interesting tool from OpenAI with Johnny Ive. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what is it. So I think this will be developing slowly, and the main thing is that people and organizations will trust more and more. But I don't expect like it will jump like globally, like fully, very quickly. But at the same time, you know, a niche of companies that will figure out the way how to scale with these technologies, they will blow the market. And so there are risks about it and there are opportunities about it. Yeah, and with the SOFTSWISS, we should think how we can get the best opportunities and avoid risks, of course.
Yeah. So the summary here is that it's not only about how fast the technologies are developing, it's more about the companies themselves being the bottleneck in taking up these capabilities, because already today there are enormous amount of incredible use cases for AI, but it just takes a long time for an organization to take decisions in a sustainable and
change the culture,
upskill people, and so on. And that is the bottleneck maybe than the actual development of the AI themselves.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So the future belongs to the early adopters, basically.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Dennis, thank you so much for the update here today. Congratulations to the new role, like the Chief AI Officer, or shortened for Ciao.
Ciao.
So thank you so much. Ciao.
It's a pleasure, Pierre. Thank you very much.